Everyone, it's the Vegan Travel Gals. How are you? How are you? So glad everyone can join us, and really happy to have everyone who's watching the replay. And please share this out to everyone you think might be interested, especially today's event, because we have a special guest today, Thomas Tieyre. He is with the Vegan Culinary Tours of Paris, and we're going to be talking to him in a few minutes. But the three of us have been all over the place lately, and we just want to chat about that real quickly. Caitlin, do you want to talk about where you've been for the past month?
Sure. Yeah. So I just got back from a vegan Lent tour of Eastern Europe. So I went with Sam from Alternative Travelers, and we went to Bulgaria, Serbia, and Montenegro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was amazing. A couple of years ago, I was in Romania over Lent, and that's when I discovered that during Lent in Eastern Orthodox countries, they go basically vegan. Some people still eat fish and honey, but other people don't eat fish. It just kind of varies by country. But yeah, during Lent, they're supposed to give up meat, eggs, and dairy for sure, and sometimes fish. So there's just tons of vegan food available everywhere. So when I was in Romania, it was amazing. I was just going into restaurants, asking for their Lent menu and finding tons of vegan food. And really excitingly, I was going into bakeries and finding tons and tons of vegan pastries. So I decided I wanted to do a tour of some other countries in the region. So that's why we chose to go to Bulgaria, Serbia, and Montenegro. When we got to Bulgaria, we realized they don't really do the Lent thing. They don't do the Lent fasting, but we still found some amazing vegan food. I post about some of it on my Instagram page if people want to have a look. But yeah, in Serbia and Montenegro, we found Lent food, particularly in the form of pastries. So we ate a lot of pastries. We basically ate a year's worth of pastry in 2 weeks. So, it was so good, though.
Savory pastries or sweet pastries or both?
Yeah, and so my favorites were on the savory side were the spinach pastry, the mushroom pastries, and the potato pastries. And then on the sweet side, there were so many things. Like, we kept seeing different pastries everywhere. So there were chocolate covered croissants, there were chocolate layer cakes, cherry strudel, apple strudel, cinnamon bun, so many different things. It was amazing, and all kinds of pastries that you wouldn't normally find vegan. So it was really cool.
Wow, yeah. Nice. So you'll go back.
Definitely, yeah. Different country next time, maybe. I hear it's been bigger in Russia, where Dunkin' Donuts gets in on the action and they release a bunch of vegan donuts for Lent in Russia every year, apparently. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go to Russia next year. I don't think it's going to be during Lent, though, because I want to be there kind of during the summer, during the White Nights, first in St. Petersburg. So I will do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge of being vegan in Russia, because it's probably not the easiest place, but I'm sure that I can make it work.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's as widely available as during Lent, but I know, I think I've heard in Russia they still do the fasting on other days throughout the year. So
right. Because
Wednesday and Friday.
Exactly, yeah. I know in Greece people would do it every Wednesday and Friday. So yeah, maybe Dunkin' Donuts does have some fasting donuts at other times of the year as well.
Yeah.
So Wendy, where have you been for the past month?
Yeah, so I've been all over the place too. Starting in Milan, I was there. It had nothing to do with vegan food, actually. I was there to watch the World Figure Skating Championships, which is another passion of mine. I'm a big figure skating fan.
Oh, we need to talk. My husband is too. We just saw Hi, Tanya.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah. So that was great. And then while I was in Italy, I decided to stay and do some research for the vegan tour of Italy that I'm going to be leading this September. So On that tour, we're going to Venice, Florence, Rome, and Bologna. And I'd been to Venice pretty recently, but I went back to Bologna and Florence and Rome after I went to Milan, just to check out some restaurants and, you know, do some kind of on the ground research to see where I might want to take the group this September. So that was fun, eating in all these different places and finding some amazing vegan food in Italy. And then I went to the UK for a couple of weeks, and I had some speaking engagements at some vegan festivals there.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
Which ones?
Well, the first one was the Northern Vegan Festival in Manchester.
Okay.
And then the Glasgow Vegan Festival and the Leicester Vegan Festival. And those were all
Leicester. I always thought it was Leicester.
Yeah, no, they pronounce it Leicester.
Okay.
Yeah, it is confusing. It looks like Leicester,
right?
But it's actually Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah, and yeah, there was a really good turnout at all of the events. In a couple of cases, there was standing room only or sitting room only.
Wow.
Or people were sitting on the floor or standing up in the back of the room for my talk because we'd run out of chairs. So people were really keen, and lots of people who weren't yet vegan as well, but were just interested and curious. And some of the stalls had run out of their food by 1 p.m. They had sold out of everything. So, yeah, it was really, really popular. And I hope to go back to the UK and do some more speaking engagements because I really enjoyed it.
That's great. Well, yeah. I was on a short little jaunt. I don't travel like you guys anymore. I used to, but I decided in January that it was time I go check out Puerto Rico because you all know that Puerto Rico was pretty badly devastated last year. And I just wanted to go see what it was all about, see what kind of help they needed, because tourism is one of their biggest industries. And, you know, without the tourism, there are no, you know, there's less jobs. I shouldn't say no jobs, but there's less jobs. And so I went down there to check it out. And I said, you know, I was just overwhelmed how beautiful the island was. It's not the country, it's the island. And how resilient the people were. And I was going down there for a veg fest as well. So my plan was to check it out so that next year, hopefully you guys will talk about it later, but next year to bring a group of people down there because it's just such a pretty island. The water's beautiful. The beach is beautiful. The hotels are coming back. Yes, there was a lot of businesses that were destroyed, but they're coming back and they need our business. And I actually got to speak for the first time in years, which is hard for me. Yeah, I know. I can do it here without a problem and not be nervous, but speaking even in front of like 10 people is kind of hard. But the Veg Fest was great. You know, when I first talked to the woman who put it on, which I'll tell you about her in a second, she was saying like 500 people, and there was she said 3,000 people were there. Over 3,000 people. So, it was, you know, for a first time event in an area like that, especially one that's not really vegetarian friendly, that was pretty amazing. You know, so the woman who put it on, her name is Frances Gonzalez, and she is the owner, one of the owners of the the Vegan Wine Club, and so she's a big entrepreneur, and I'm looking forward to tasting. Actually, I did taste some of her wines, which were pretty amazing. And I think we need to have her on a taste testing video one day, which would be hard to, I don't know, maybe we could buy one of her bottles each and taste it at the same time. And Thomas, you should be a part of this because maybe we can get some French wines in there. But so anyway, it was a great trip. I really enjoyed it. They also sold out of food because they weren't expecting so many people. So there were a lot of non-vegetarians there wanting to learn about vegan food. So it was a good trip all in all. And I was in the Rincon area, I was on the other side of the island. We did have a small power outage when we got there, and that came back on. And then there was a larger power outage when I returned, but everything is good. in Puerto Rico. Things are getting better. They are getting better. It's slow. It's going to be a slow progress. So enough about us. We're very excited to have somebody here, a gentleman who has a tour that I would love to go on, because I need to go back there. Don't you think we need to go back there, you guys?
To Paris? Yeah. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Thomas, I don't want to butcher your last name, and that's not the right word. I don't want to destroy your last name here. Is it Tieyre?
It's Tieyre.
Tieyre.
Yeah, it's a bit special for French people, so don't worry about that.
So Thomas is the owner and guide of the Vegan Culinary Tours in Paris, which I'm really excited to hear about. Tell us when you started this. I'm putting the link up here for people to look at. When did this start?
Yeah, so thanks first for inviting me on your live. So basically, I just started to run the tours last October 2017. Sorry, and I started with just one tour, one vegan tour, and now I'm running two different type of tours: the Gourmet Sentier and the Delicious East tour. Each of the tours are running in different neighborhood, I'd say, and with the different types of tastings too. So it's about the shape of it. It's a 3-hour walking tours in Paris in a small group from 5 to 8 people. And you taste the gourmet vegan food of Paris in 3 different vegan spots, I say. Like it could be restaurants, coffee shops, grocery store. Even we have a workshop dedicated to vegan cheese.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's really it's amazing, because you can have the products you are just basically tasting just under your eyes, just in the production, and you can taste the same products in your mouth. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Can I tell you something? When I years ago, there's a friend of mine named Alex Bork. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He was like one of the original authors of all these vegan guides, and when he would speak, and when he wrote, actually, he would always say, if you go to France, and I think in particular Paris, and you tell them, and they ask for your passport, and you show them that you're a vegan, they turn you away. That's how bad it was back then. And it seems to really have changed a lot, right? In the past couple years.
Yeah, I think the major shift was at the beginning of the last year, 2017, because there was the opening of the first fine gourmet vegan pastry shop in Paris, named VG Patisserie, and here you can just taste like French traditional pastry in a vegan style. So basically the Paris-Brest or the Opéra, some famous French desserts, you have it in a traditional version. You can have it in a vegan version. So yeah, it was a major point, and after that some major place just opened, and yeah, now it's more like the events that just is amazing. What even nearly every week you have a vegan event or more or less. So it could be like a barbecue, like an after work. It could be, yeah, it's really amazing, the shift.
Wow. Yeah, I am so excited about the vegan pastries. And to be honest, the rest of French food, like I don't really need veganized versions of other, you know, French dishes because even when I lived in France and that was like 19 years ago and way before I was vegan, I didn't really eat a lot of meat then anyway, and the French food, you know, was very meat heavy. So it, and I was poor and couldn't afford to eat out in restaurants very often. So I didn't eat many of, you know, the traditional French dishes, but I did eat a lot of French pastries. And so that would be the thing that I would miss. But except now I don't have to miss it because now you have a vegan version. So that is very exciting.
Yeah, last year I have this one client family who they went on a very large trip to France last year. They were visiting friends and family, and then they wanted to go to Paris for a week. And I sent her to the Gentle Gourmet, which I'm sure you guys know about who she is, right? And these people are really well traveled. And she came back to me and said, because I treated them to dinner, and she said that, and they're very picky about their foods, what they eat, what they put in their bodies. And so I was a little worried about it, but she said it was the best meal they've ever had anywhere in the world.
Wow. Very high praise.
Yes, very high praise.
I have a very good friend in Paris who I have visited quite a few times, and she's not vegan, but I took her to the Gentle Gourmet the first time I went to visit her, and she just fell absolutely in love with it. And every time I've gone to visit her since then, so maybe like a dozen times, she's always asked me if we can go back there because she likes it so much. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just a few words about the Gentle Gourmet, because it has become just a famous vegan spot in Paris, especially for gourmet food. And they also opened an institute to just teach every people who just want to change their work life, for example, and to become a chef, a pastry chef, for example, or a traditional vegan chef, and they just open it. I think it's several years ago now. They had some hundreds of students here, so yeah, it's a good success for them.
So how long are these are walking tours, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many hours are they, and what kind of food should somebody expect to get?
It's 3-hour walking tours, so sorry, but you don't walk during 3 hours. I mean, just 3 hours. It's just 4 kilometers, more or less. So it's just you have maybe 45 minutes to walk, and the rest of the time you spend it in the vegan spots we visit. And the tasting just changed from a tour or another. For example, in the tour, the Gourmet Sentier, you can taste traditional French breakfast in a vegan version, like vegan croissant, or with
Wendy.
Yeah. And it's really hard to find a good vegan croissant. I didn't heard about that, but I just learned it from weeks ago. And you have some marmalade and homemade chocolate paste too for the breakfast. After, you have some snacks like toast of seaweed,
Okay.
French seaweed come from Brittany, and after you will hand by some pizzeria. So, yeah.
How about vegan wines? Are the wines, do you make sure, or I guess the restaurants are vegan, so you make so that's already done that the wines are vegan. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
The wine, it could be not an issue, but it's a major point, I think, because you could have like organic wine, like natural, which have just no preservatives or other products that just are insert inside the bottle, but it could not have the vegan label, you know. So and so you can find it in the shops too, and most of the time these wine bottles are not labelized as vegan, but they are vegan in fact. So.
And organic doesn't necessarily mean vegan either, as I found out. And
yeah.
So, yeah. In fact, a lot of times they're not for whatever reason, but yeah. Wow.
So Thomas, what are the different kinds of vegan food that you can find in Paris? I mean, we talked about pastries, which honestly, that's all I need to hear. But do you also find like veganized versions of, main dishes that would be part of French cuisine, or is it burgers and pizza, or is it healthy food? Like, what kinds of things do you have there?
Yeah, you have a large range of vegan cuisine, in fact, from like you said, veganized version of French traditional recipe, which is for example in a spot called Le Fetou, located in the 12th arrondissement. And they just reproduce some French traditional recipe like blanquette de veau, or I don't know, some French recipe, and they did their own cheese too, own vegan cheese, and yeah, they cook just amazing. After, you have some Afro cuisine, which means like Caribbean cuisine.
Oh, Caribbean, okay.
Yeah. On where you can find in the Jaja. It's the name of the place, Jaja. And they cook really well too, with like cauliflower's wings, just for like tapas, you can just use it with a dip or sauce, and you just melt the two, and you have like healthy place or spot on which you can find like bowls for breakfast bowl, or just for lunch bowls, or depends.
Cool.
Wow, I'm getting hungry. It's lunchtime around here.
Thomas, what would you say would be the best neighborhood to stay in? Like, if you were vegan going to Paris and you wanted to stay near lots of veggie restaurants, which would be the best choice of arrondissement?
Yeah, I think the best place, and I'd say district, is the 9th or 10th arrondissement, because it was named the Veggie Town after the name of the French vegetarian non-profit organization. They just created the word, and after it's just stayed, and we use it still today. So
So there
what
was
does that mean when you call it Veggie Town? It just means that there are lots of veggie restaurants there?
Yeah. There's we called it Veggie Town because it's the most concentrated area for I'd say vegan spots of every kind, from restaurants to grocery stores. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
So there was do they still do this? There was a day, and I don't remember when it was, and I think the woman from Gentle Gourmet started it or was a part of it, Veggie Pride. Didn't they have a Veggie Pride Day or something?
Yeah, I think it's the founder of Gentle Gourmet, which was the pioneer of the Veggie Pride and veggie and vegan heavens just for one day, I think.
And they still do that?
Um, they just stopped to organize the vegan events just on one day, but now you have many events. Like you have twice a year you have Veggie World, for example, which is an European show, for the biggest European show for veganism in Europe.
We're having them
Um,
here in Lisbon this weekend. It's the first time they're coming to Lisbon, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to be speaking at that one Saturday.
Yeah. They plan to open in so many cities. It's really cool for local vegans that are just here, or if you just visited the place. So it's cool. Um, and you have the Veggie Pride, which is organized now by a non-profit organization.
Oh, good. So they
Yeah, and you have another. Sorry, you have another event we named Vegan Place, and it's just basically a non-profit village with different stands on where you can eat. You can just speak with non-profits, and it's just once a month, I think, or more or less.
What do you think about outside of Paris? Has it gotten any easier as well?
Uh, it's getting easier in some other big cities apart Paris, like Bordeaux, Lyon, or Marseille. And that's why I want to launch my next tours, vegan tours in these cities.
Oh, wow. Right.
This year I've planned this. And so I can support this vegan economy development too. So it's really nice. And you can find some really good vegan spots in these cities, but in the small cities, it could be tricky or a bit hard to just obtain some vegan meals especially in traditional restaurants.
Right.
Yeah, one thing that I did when I was in France was to go to Moroccan restaurants, which you find a lot of because there's a large Moroccan or just generally North African community in France. And so you can always get a good couscous with vegetables there, as opposed to, the traditional restaurants, they generally don't have that many vegan options.
Yeah. Or you have Lebanese cuisine too, Italian.
Yeah.
There was also this great.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Caitlin, are we losing you?
Yeah, Caitlin.
There's this great initiative I found out about a few months ago. I know maybe you've heard of it, Thomas. It's a website for France. Oh, can you hear me?
Not very well. You're cutting in and out. And now, Donna,
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
But there's this great initiative in.
Uh-oh, we lost her. Caitlin, come back.
France.
Yeah.
She's in that little hot spot there.
All right, well, we'll have to try that again because I did want to hear about Caitlin's great initiative.
I know. I was like, oh, what is this? And then that was it. That's all we got. Maybe you could type it in, Caitlin, and we could do it at another time. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a question, Thomas. Talking about how the traditional restaurants aren't that vegan friendly. So what would you suggest to someone who is vegan and is traveling with non-vegans to Paris if their friends or traveling partners aren't willing to go to a vegan restaurant for every meal necessarily? Are there places that serve a bit of both, or yeah, what could they do in that case?
I think it's to be really honest, it's the biggest issue. We just face it in Paris to the lack of options in traditional restaurants now, but it really depends on the open-minded of the cook, of the chef, and both the waiter too in the place. So it depends. I think you just have to ask the cook if he just can cook you a vegan meal, I say, or even dish. And you have to ask the waiter and to be sure that the person just understood what you just said about your concerns. So yeah, but and also more and more restaurants just have like a little V label in a green color.
Oh, they're starting to do that. Good for them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really a good tool, for when you just want to see the menu, sorry, just outside from the restaurant. So yeah, you just have to check this. Yeah.
Great. Can you hear me again? Am I back?
Yeah, we can hear you. We want to hear about the initiative you were talking about.
Okay. So it's a website just for France, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's, basically restaurants can sign up and they have to pledge to have at least one vegan starter, main, and dessert, and then they get a listing on this site. So they have to have an option for 3 courses every day. And there are restaurants all over France. I was really surprised to see restaurants look like in smaller towns outside of some of the main cities that aren't veggie restaurants, but they've decided to sign up, and they're really proactively approaching restaurants. And it's such a great initiative, I think. Yeah, have you guys heard of it?
I do remember seeing that website before. Thomas, do you know that website? Do you know what the name of it is?
Maybe it's Vego Resto or something like this. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They really want to help traditional food place to just turn and to insert vegan options in their menu by organizing some vegan party in their restaurant. So yeah.
So is there a website for it, do you think, or?
It's Vegan. I'll look. I'll see if I can find it now. Yeah, Vego Resto. So VEGORESTO.fr.
Let's see. What is it again? I'm sorry. Let me post it down in the Facebook page. So is it?
Yeah, so Thomas has just posted it in our chat.
Yeah,
if you can find
it.
Copy and paste it. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, let me go ahead and paste that in there. And it'll be on the Facebook page for people to look at. That's really a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope people adopt that in other countries too.
Well, one thing I've noticed, and so this, I just heard about you, Thomas, through Wendy.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, because I'm bringing a group to Ireland next week, and there's also there's a vegan walking tour of Dublin, and which, Dublin is like Paris. It was not the easiest place to be vegan years ago, and now there are vegan walking tours of Italy and vegan just these like day tours now that are just cropping up all over the place. It's really kind of amazing that this is happening. I wish they'd have more of it in the U.S. You know, I mean, I think there's some in New York, but I don't know of any other in any other town. You know, although we're looking into doing one for Philadelphia, so actually that'll be coming up soon.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Okay. And Kim from Veg Johnson Journey, she's also doing them in Asheville, North Carolina now.
That's right. She is doing those. She is doing the local ones.
Okay. And as you mentioned this, as we said, network of vegan tours around the world. I just want to just insert this on my website, from which just name Vegan Tours in the World, to help people just to prepare their vegan travel. So if you, maybe if there are some vegan tours owners in they just see this, they can send me their information to just be on
Yeah, that's great that you're doing that, Thomas, to help spread the word about other places. And I also have a list of vegan tours on my website, the Nomadic Vegan, as well. So yeah, I have Thomas's tours listed there, and of course Donna's tours. But yeah, I'm trying to find as many different vegan tours as possible, you know, whether it's a multi-day event or just a 2 or 3 hour food tour, walking tour. So yeah, I do have quite a few listed there, but you're right. There are a lot more in Europe currently than there are in the US. But I'm sure that will change, you know, because there's a big vegan market in the US too. So I'm sure that we'll see more tour options popping up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are coming to, well, we're actually a little bit over our half-an-hour chat here. So if we don't have any other questions, if you guys have questions and you're watching the replay, please post them below, and one of us will be sure to answer to it. And please, again, share this out to everyone that you think would be interested in learning about Vegan Paris, because I am. And now with chocolate, the vegan bakeries, French vegan bakeries. I'm hungry.
Sure.
So, at any rate, I want to thank everyone for showing up today, and we'll be back next month. What are we talking about next month? Do we know?
That might be packing.
Yeah. Yes, we are talking about packing next month, and and I'll be going away like right after that to Ireland. So you guys can teach me how to pack right, because I can't.
Actually, I got complimented on my packing when I was going through like the security check in the airport yesterday in Manchester, because, well, I had messed up. I had forgotten that I had an iPad inside my bag, so I left it in my bag, and then, you know, that got triggered, and so the guy had to open my bag and look inside, and he's like, "Oh, good packing job."
Unlike me, I had coffee grinds in my bag, and that triggered it apparently. And she had to really dig through there.
Before my last trip, I was up till like 2 a.m. repacking my bag. I unpacked everything and moved it all to a different bag and repacked it all. So I wouldn't call myself a packing expert either.
Oh, so we're going to leave it up to Wendy next month.
Yeah. Well, I can talk about unpacking mistakes and how to not make them.
Right. And not how to not lose things when you get home. Like me, I don't know where it went still. Anyway, Thomas, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope that we can work together in the future, and I hope that people will, you know, book your tours, because that sounds like a great thing that you're doing. And,
thanks for your invitation. This was nice.
Come join us again sometime.
Yeah, sure.
Especially when you move into different cities. We want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And we will be back next month to learn about packing and I think I need to learn about packing. And obviously, Caitlin needs to learn about packing. Wendy's going to teach us.
All right. Yep, I'm ready.
We'll see you next month.
See you then. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.